Do always like it when I get to a new spot. This isn't a new spot. I've caught fish from here before, but what I find is when I move into a new space, if there's any fish around, they tend to sniff you out in the first few days. I can imagine they're going to be quite hungry now. It's looking like a pretty decent moon. It's nearly full. How can you not be confident? I'm always confident. Very, very, very used to not catching as well. But it doesn't really matter because I'd much rather be here with these 3 rods out there than sat at home. So, welcome to my life. Really want a winter fish this winter. I've been trying. Pretty sure I've been trying in the wrong places. Although, still yet to work that one out. Got some interesting trips next year. One I'm particularly looking forward to, and one I'm confident I'm going to be catching fish on. But that's for next year. Early next year. Well, in a few months. The journey will start in a few months. So that will be interesting. But for now, I'm on the regular spots on the Leeds Liverpool canal between Liverpool and the first lock of Parbold, scratching around for a hungry carp in mid-autumn. Some of these weather shots that we'll get when the rains and the snows come, phenomenal. But yeah, I tend to fish one in the channel there at the end of the boat, but in the middle gives me, I can pretty much bait up there consistently, blind, backwards, forwards, the lot. Done it loads of times, so there's always one in the channel, and I've had a few fish from the channel as well. Beautiful spot over there underneath the willow, just on the bend there. Obviously I've got one over there, and in my opinion, if you haven't got one on the towpath margin, you might as well pack up and go home, because I've caught more fish under my feet than I have anywhere. So that's the spot. Been here before, will be here again. Looking for a cold water biggin, because I know they're in here. Just finding them. Wish me luck. So I was sort of hoping to show you how I work with this, which is a great bit of kit, by the way, dead cheap. What it is absolutely great to work with one hand, and the LEDs are really good on it. So, you know, it does exactly what it's supposed to do. Something that's functional, cheap, easy to fix, easy to replace is great. So I was going to show you, I was going to put me rods out. Well, obviously they're already out. Look at this, amazing. I went through my catch records. I've actually had 3 fish from this spot. Look at this. My God. One back over there underneath the willow. One in the channel. 20 baits ish. Look at me both. Awesome. Absolutely speechless, don't know what to say. Just amazing. These pictures are exactly why I do what I do. Now then, I'm just making up some rigs. Don't expect anything special. The rigs that I use on the canal are really crude. It's just a very basic knotless knot rig, just whatever braid I've got in the tackle box. Although I do only use Gardner Mugger hooks, and I have done exclusively for 15 years now. For me, there isn't a better hook on the market. I've got a variety of different braids and hook length materials in the tackle box that I've collected over the years. Who hasn't? Don't have a favourite, to be honest. Bait wise, I will always fish a coloured pop-up, either white, yellow, pink, or even a brown, just depending on how I feel, with a dozen or so freebies offered around it. That's the one that tends to go in the channel. I will always fish a single bait. I'm using the DNA Secret 7 boilie at the moment. Really rate it. Definitely have caught more fish since using it, so I'll be using it from now on. Good deals, bulk deals, quick delivery. Can't really ask for anything else really. It's a quality bait, and it's actually made a difference. It's definitely caught me more fish. So I fish a single one and then a second rig with a double bottom bait on as well. So pop up, single bottom bait, double bottom bait. They are my 3 chosen canal rigs. I've had 3 fish from this spot, which actually isn't that bad at all really when you think about it. What is quite interesting is when I look back, is they were all caught within a 2-week window, which makes me think that these fish on the canal move in shoals. I've been looking for patterns and signs for years and years and years, and the only real consistent pattern I've seen is that whenever you've caught one, you always get a flurry of action. So a single or multiple fish, in this case 3, and then it goes completely quiet, almost as if there's no fish there anymore. Probably as if there's no fish there anymore. I've got a feeling that they're moving, constantly moving, and you know, if they're around when you're around, you'll probably catch 1 or 2, but most of the time they're not around when you're around. Well, they're certainly not around when I'm around. So I think that's what makes the fishing on the canal particularly difficult, and I do believe a lot of it is luck, to be honest, because I've fished on here long enough now to know that it's not easy for those guys, and you see them every year. They will come, they will bait up, they will fish the area, but they don't tend to stay. You know, they come at the beginning of spring, you see them every year, they do a few sessions, and then they disappear. And what that tells me is they're either not catching or not catching enough. So I mean, for me, it's more of a way of life. You know, I live a good proportion of my life on this boat, and I do that so that I can have 3 lines in the water. So I give up planning spots, baiting up spots. I've got loads and loads of stories to tell about times where I filled spots in and, you know, fished over certain areas. I fished the mooring where my boat is permanently moored. I fished exclusively there for the first couple of years. I didn't move, and that was quite interesting, you know, trying to establish a feeding area where maybe the fish might come and congregate is what I was hoping for, to maybe keep fish close by. But quite quickly I realized that wasn't going to happen. That was never going to happen. I think they just keep moving. They'll come through, they'll eat whatever's there, and then they'll carry on. Well, that's my theory anyway. So my challenge for the last couple of winters is to try and find one would be great. More than one would be amazing, but one would be enough. Carp. So I'm trying to catch a winter one. But anyway, going back to the 3 that I've had from this spot, But the first fish was a 16 pound common, caught on the 12th of July. It was an early morning run. It was a standard canal one toner, which are great. And they always give a good account for themselves. Quite strange playing fish on the canal, because obviously they can only go two ways. So it's a sort of hit and hold type situation. It really is good. And when you've got one, you know about it, because they really do go. But that one came in at £16. Really nice fish, really good condition, lovely colours. I was chuffed with that one. The second fish I had was a stunning fish. It was an upper double. It was £18 and it was a zip linear. You'll be seeing it on the screen now. What a lovely fish that is. Probably one of the nicest fish I've caught from the canal, but in great condition, which is really good to see. The zip linear came from the channel on the coloured pop-up, which was great. That was a new thing for this year, fishing, always having one in the channel. And actually I've had a number of fish from the channel as well, so if you do fish the canal, you should have one in the middle, although I know a lot of people don't. But that zip linear was a stunning fish, great condition, memorable, one of the nicest fish I've had from the canal. So, you know, if I'd have caught no more all year, I would have been happy as Larry with that fish. But then on the 22nd of July, I had another one, a small common. I thought that was a tench. I've had quite a lot of really nice big tench from the area over the past 12 months, more so than any other year. And I really like catching tench, although I don't fish for them. So I thought this one was a tench, but it gave a great account of itself. It run me ragged, as they all do, forwards, backwards. It was a lovely little common, about double figures. I don't think I weighed it, to be honest with you. But they were the three fish that I caught from here, which, you know, I'm really happy with. I'm chuffed with. That's why I was sort of come back here, because I was hoping with the bay and the boats and not that much either way. I really hoped that this might be like a holding area. That's proven not to be the case. But I've got a feeling the winter's going to, you know, I'm going to be really lucky to get one on the winter, but I'm going to try. Every time I'm here, there will be 3 rods in the water. So wherever I am, I will be fishing, and it will just be nice to be fishing, you know. We had that cold spell last week. It's gone really quite warm again now, you know, so the conditions are there. I always like it when there's a bit more of a wind on the water. It's quite still tonight. It was great last night, but I wasn't here last night. But I do always like it when there's a bit of weather, and I think there's a bit of weather due over the next week or so. So as always, I'm confident as ever. But if I don't go now, I'm never going to get these rigs done. So next time you hear from me, could be in the morning, but more likely to be in the new spot with some new features to talk about, and fingers crossed some carp about. Okay, so as promised, I'm just going to do a little section, just about to put the rods on. Just got here. Don't finish work until quite late on in the evening, so by the time I get home, pick the dog up, sort the house out, get down here, it's normally dark, which is absolutely fine with me, the way I prefer it, to be fair. Just going to stick one, which will be underarm cast, about the length of my boat, but in the middle. I'll show you that one in a minute. There's going to be one over there, which is going to be delivered using the bait boat. Don't even know what it's called. I've had that boat for over a year. The battery lasts for ages. Handset batteries go quite quickly, but the battery in the boat lasts for ages. It's a bit noisy, but it just does the trick. Not great around thick weed either. So not great for me syndicate, but does just the job on here. Convinced. It's definitely caught me a few fish this year. Not particularly from this swim, but certainly another one where I've been able to put right underneath the tree on the far margin. Feel pretty certain that just increase the chance, give me a better chance. Anyway, so let's get these rods out. I have been through all of the stages of rig mechanics over the years of being fishing. Not a rig I would use anywhere else, not gonna lie. I think I would be a little bit more refined if I was fishing on the Syndicate or if I was fishing on a circuit water. A couple of baits, you know, I don't know, maybe 10 a dozen baits. Bail arm off, ready to go, switch on, into the pond, on into the canal, off it goes. Just going to grab the controller, lights on. And away we go. Told you it was a bit noisy. That's it. It's just there. Pick it up nice and easy. Everything off. Oh well, I'm pretty sure they're still for sale. I know a couple of the guys on our Syndicate used them. I know one guys did say his was rubbish, so I don't know if I've been lucky or what, but that's a belter. It just does what I want it to do. Anyway, I'm just gonna sort my back leads out. Double back leaded. Never ever had an issue with anything coming through, ever. I've been doing this a long time. Confident enough to know that that is safe as houses. Ear margins dead easy. Just tend to have a little walk down. There's absolutely nothing. There's nothing to see. So I think what I'm going to do, I do know there's a bit of a change over here, and I have learned when there's a change in the bank side. I don't know if you see the bottom there. See the bottom? You can see here that the bank, because it's a turning point. And what I've learned is where the margin changes can often produce a fish or two. It's to do with, in my opinion, what they're eating at the time of the year. What I've noticed for sure is the main staple, the main food, the carp. Oh, that was solid. Snails and mollusks, because every time I've caught fish and say I've sacked them up for a bit, the sack is always full of snails that have been digested and shat out. Noticeable as well, so you know, not just one or two, but consistently, for me to know that they are searching out the mollusks. And the other thing that I know is when the sides, the bank, the margin changes. I don't know whether it's they get more or less of them, I don't know, but so I'm just gonna, I've just dropped that in, I'm just gonna walk it back to the boat. It's about, I don't know, maybe 20 yards, something like that, just back here. I've caught them just literally there. Grab the rod off the roof. I know that one is positioned well, just a single back lead. So now the last one is literally just left the office at 8 o'clock. It's now 9:05. All 3 rods are out. Not sure what weather's forecast tonight, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as last night. Just goes like that. Sits on top like that. Okay, so that's it. All 3 rods out. Wish me luck. See what happens in the morning. Morning, welcome to the new spot. Moved yesterday, had to. Didn't really want to because I had a fish on Monday night, but it was a bream. But whenever I've caught bream, I've always had a few carp as well, and I had to move because I'm only allowed to stay 14 days in any given spot according to my boat license. And I know the guy was going to come and check our tickets numbers yesterday, so I had to go. But this is the only place on the canal I've ever seen a fish show. It was just up there, just before the bridge up there. One Friday morning I was walking back and it jumped out twice, and that is the only fish I've ever seen jump clear the water in the canal. So I'll be fishing one underneath this tree, one in the channel at the end of the boat, my favourite spot in the near margin. I just thought I'd get some morning footage. I tried to get some last night, but it was quite late and I'm still getting used to positioning the camera in the right spot. So anyway, welcome to the new spot. I'm here for the next couple of weeks. Wish me luck and I'll let you know if anything happens. Fished here before. I have had fish from here before. I'll dig them out as per. Got quite a big overhanging tree over there where I think I'll drop one. Not sure yet, because I normally put one. There's another overhanging tree here, and then there's a nice, if you make them out on the camera, but there's a quite a 150 yards or so of stick-ups. Temperature's 6 degrees-ish. Temperature's a bit up and down at the moment. Perfect fishing weather for carp. Come on, the carp. I'm just going to get the rods out. I think I'm going to put one back at the boat. I think I'm going to use the bait boat to take one over to that side. And then I think I'll put one at the end of the boat in the channel. One thing that I've often felt quite strange is when I move spots, It feels like I'm on a new lake. I know it sounds a bit weird, but I've come about maybe a couple of miles away from Liverpool. The boat's facing a different direction, which means the wind's coming in different ways. There's obviously a load of new features in front of me. It's a popular fishing area. Not charged this battery since I've started doing these clips. It's gonna stop on me one day. Honest to God. Amazing. Oh my God. Unbelievable, this thing, I tell you. Absolutely unbelievable. Sorry for the noise. So yeah, I was saying, it sounds a bit crazy saying it, but when I move and I come to a new area, it feels like I'm on a new lake. It's crazy. It's like a renewed excitement. I mean, obviously there's something wrong with me to be doing it for this long all the time, but I can't explain it. Got big ideas for when I get a bit older. I'm thinking Europe, canal systems, but I'll certainly be starting my travels going down to the southern areas and fishing canals down south. That would be fun. Love to go and do London in the boat and catch some of those fish. That would be awesome. In the channel. Right, close in that. Okay, that's me set for the night. Wish me luck. Hope to report with some good news in the morning. So I thought I'd do a morning update today rather than an evening one. I don't get here till quite late, about at 9:30 in the evening. So quite often it's a bit of a panic getting everything set up. Takes me about 5 or 10 minutes getting the rods out. Need to have some food, so quite often I feel I'm rushing things a little bit. Whereas in the morning, I can have a little bit more time, although I've got a bit more to do today, so I do need to be leaving within the next 10 or 15 minutes. I'll be back to the house to carry on with my day. I'll be going to work later on, and then I'll be back here tonight about 9:30. Rods out 9:45, and we go again. Nothing really to report on the fishing front. Still confident though. The temperatures are okay. They could be worse. They could be better. I've fished in warmer December years, but you know, 8, 9, 10 degrees is always good. I feel like if there are any fish in the area, they've had a couple of days to sniff out the bait. For those of you that don't know, I'm on the DNA Secret 7 boilie, the S7 boilie, which I would highly recommend. They absolutely stink. The dog will be knocking about any second now, I bet you. He's out there somewhere. As soon as he smells these, he will be in here. It's great bait. There he is. Told you, sit down. Sit. Good timing, mate. I'm going to give you too much of these, but I'll give you a little piece. There you go. Good boy. Yeah, it's a great bait. I've definitely caught more fish while I've been using this DNA S7 boilie. I'm not sponsored, I'm not affiliated, but it's a great bait. So if you're looking for a boilie or you're looking for a change, give it a try. I've definitely noticed the difference since trying it. Although not on the canal. More on the syndicate, where I tend to catch a few more fish. Unfortunately, we have a publicity ban on the syndicate, so not really any hope of showing you any of those fish, which is a shame because they are big. Back to the canal. Water's up, water's coloured. It's looking good for a fish. I'm not sure what the weather's going to do this week, but it doesn't really matter. I'll be here anyway. I've done my daddy duties at the weekend. My 2 kids are in their teenage years now, so it's not so much daddy duties, it's more take, collect and pay. But still, it's great with the kids. I do miss them when they're not with me, so we do have fun when they are with me. I've been in the house since Thursday. I think I mentioned we've just got over Storm Dara, which was a bit of a bad one. We sort of battened down the hatches, fire on, Christmas decorations out. We had a good time. But Sunday afternoon they go back home. I go out to work for a couple of hours, and then all I can think about is fishing back on the canal, trying to get one of these cold water carp. And I'll be trying right through the winter. I'm not holding out much hope, I'll be honest. Me and him will be off for our long walk in a minute. Normally walk for an hour and a half, 2 hours a day, either way on the canal. This is why he's here. He's waiting on you, bud. But I'll be packing up in the next 5 or 10 minutes, so this is just a short one for today. Wish me luck for the week, and if anything happens, I'll let you know. Now then, Thursday the 12th of December, it's about 8:30 in the morning. It's a bit grim today. It's about 7-8 degrees. Nothing to report on the fishing front. I think I'm going to move tomorrow. Can't get that turning bay up that way out my mind, so I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some bait. I'm going to go for a walk down the canal as I normally do every day. I'm going to put a bit of bait in that turning bay. I'm going to do one more night in this swim, and then tomorrow I'm off. There is actually another spot just before the turning bay. I'll show you it on the walk. Have had fish from there, so I'm not sure yet. I might do a couple of nights there. I might do a couple of nights in the turning bay. Christmas is approaching, so I will be heading back to my mooring. Got a few good fish from there as well, but I'll be heading back to the mooring probably for Christmas week. I've got a bit of a plan for when it freezes over, which would be quite interesting. There's a spot that I know, quite a big area that I know that doesn't freeze, so I'm thinking when the canal freezes, I might spend a couple of weeks in there, which will be good. The only problem is there's hardly any mobile signal, so I need to have a think about that. Still better than waking up at home though. Wish me luck. This is the stretch I've been fishing for the past week. You can see the boat just ahead there. Always feel confident when I'm fishing. Although you've probably never met somebody who's had so many blanks, but it's not really that. Stopped counting the sessions, stopped counting the blanks years ago actually, because it's more to do with how I live my life is what it is. So I mean, in the summertime, you know, I'd be spending a couple of weeks here. I'd be putting a fair bit of bait on it, and I would be up every other night really. Some form of action, mostly bream, which some might feel is a bit of a pain. But one thing I have picked up from fishing on the canal is whenever I've caught bream, the carp are never that far away. So when it comes to springtime, early springtime, and the bream start to spawn at the stick-ups, what you tend to find is there's always one or two greedy carp following them, and that's where they're going to slip up and eat your bait. Where they are in the winter, I have absolutely no idea. I was talking to a guy last winter. Oh, I couldn't believe it. One Sunday morning I woke up, there was a match around the boat, either side of my boat. The canal was frozen. The canal was frozen. And fair play to these guys. They broke the ice and they fished the match. But I got talking to the bailiff, and he was telling me about his mate who caught one in the middle of winter when the canal was iced over underneath a bridge. I mean, do you believe these stories? Well, yeah, because what reason did he have to tell me a fib? So, you know, this is doable. It just requires effort, consistency, and it's not particularly difficult to come and flick 3 rods out and then cook some tea, get into bed and have a sleep. It's actually quite nice to do, to be honest with you. Just suits the way I live my life. And I've got some ideas for the future as well. I'm not going to be sticking around the Leeds Liverpool. Definitely going to be heading down south and hopefully want to get over to Europe. It's going to be exciting. Another chapter of my life, really. And that's sort of part of the reason why I'm documenting what I'm doing, because over the next few years I'm going to be gearing up for selling up and sailing away and spending all of my later years carp fishing down south and hopefully on those beautiful canals in France. But for now, I'll just carry on blanking my backside off on the Liverpool end of the Leeds Liverpool canal. It's all part of the fun, really, and it is fun. And every one of these spots where I've stopped, I can evidence captures of decent carp, so they are catchable when you can find them. The location is key, and I'm pretty sure right now I haven't got the right location.